and then there is no any other platform for them to sell it out to people, for it to become like a tool for people to use in terms of like having a digital, to become a digital literate. So what we do is through our platform, right? The use of all the printing of handout and all those things, we are trying to eradicate all those things by, connecting the author. The lecturers can be the authors, bringing them, after curating or publishing their book, they bring it to our platform. We verify them critically and then understand the content of that book and all those things, and then put it on our platform for people consumption. Mitigating the sites or the part you talk about, people buying handout and all those things. So what you do on our platform is just for you to buy the book, and then you have it for lifetime. You'll be able to read it without, buying this, and then all the middlemen and all those things. So we are cutting that through our platform.
Thank you so much for that. Welcome right back to the show. Yes, it is Health Digest, as I did tell you, your one-stop program for your health information. I'm Ugwuoke, and I am here to serve. So, if you didn't know, on the 3rd of March was World Hearing Day, and on the 15th of March is World Speech Day. And in the health sector and the world calendar, it's a really big, big day for us, especially for me, because if I cannot speak to you and you cannot hear me, this whole process will not even be happening. So it is very, very, very paramount. And I hope that you listen and hopefully can, give me feedback in the comment section on our social media so that I know that you actually heard me and your speech is improved. And here with me, I have an expert in the house. I'm going to have him introduce himself so that he can better give us his world of experience. I'm going to get straight to it. Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening.
Nice, nice. So please tell us, what is your name and what are we doing today?
Okay. My name is Charles Ugwuoke. I am a speech language pathologist, the CEO and founder of Success Speech and Language Resource Center, Abuja here. And today we are here to talk about World Hearing and Speech Day, because as a living soul, we cannot do without hearing and speech.
Yes.
And when this has been denied, it affects us in every sphere of our lives.
At which point, okay, so this is not your first, second, or third time on the program. You're definitely becoming our in-house guest. So for a lot of people, that introduction was just so that they can get acclimated. So I want to know, when it comes to the major things you've mentioned, speech and hearing, at what point in the formation of a human being are these things, important to check? Can you find out if there are defects or how good your hearing or your speaking will be? Is it possible to find out at the point of conception before we get into the nitty-gritty?
Oh, I love this question. So, during delivery, it is very important to check the speech and hearing of the baby. Why is this? Because most babies that didn't cry at birth do develop speech and language problems. And when you check hearing after delivery, we are going to know that, is this child hearing? Is he not hearing? What can we do to do further assessment? That will actually help us to be proactive, to know what to do to manage that hearing. But if you didn't check hearing ability of the child after delivery, and the child did not cry at birth, and you leave the child to develop that way, the child have a big tendency of developing speech and hearing problems later in life.
What about, because I know when I had my son, at a point they had us check for something called tongue-tied.
Tongue-tie, yeah.
What exactly is that, and how does that contribute to speech delay, if anything?
Tongue-tie is just a big, thick skin underneath of our tongue, so holding the tongue down. So, but it does not contribute to speech delay. Rather, it contributes to articulation disorder. Yeah, because the child's tongue may not be able to stick out properly, both left, right, or even do anti-clockwise within the mouth, or even go up to touch the hard palate. So that's the upper roof. So when the child wants to stick out tongue, you'll see having like a V shape. It will draw it back. But it does not contribute to speech delay. Rather, it contributes to articulation disorder, because tongue is one of the major parts of our speech organ that helps us to articulate words, meaning say word and sound properly, the way it should be.
Thank you so much. Now, thank you for giving us an understanding of what hearing is and speech itself is. So when you have issues concerning hearing and articulation or speech delivery, and we come to you as a practitioner, what are the basics for us to start, and what is the progressive way? Because I know a lot of this from our conversations have to deal with management. It's not a one-stop hocus pocus magic trick. It's something that you have to manage over time. So could you take us in first with hearing very briefly, and we could maybe focus mainly when it comes to speech, because personally for me, I serve in church, Harvesters International, at the Children's Church, and it's quite important for me to be able to know and how I can actually relate better with children at different developmental levels.
Thank you. So I'm glad that you asked me to start with the hearing, because without hearing, no one can develop a speech or even a meaningful speech.
Yes.
Now, so hearing is the ability to receive sound, and the brain receives that sound, then you'll be able to actually interpret the sound and use your speech or language to communicate. And when this happens, it begins to actually affect every living soul to be able to live a normal life. So now, this is where the issue comes here. For the hearing loss, it means that this individual has a problem to receive the needed sound. The sound is reduced or not even hearing at all for the brain to receive and interpret the sound, because the brain responsible for the interpretation, it also controls our speech and hearing, called the temporal lobe. So this is how it happens now. So we have types of hearing loss that every individual do go through. One is a conductive hearing loss. So when it's within our outer ear and middle ear. And outer ear, we're talking about this, the auricle here, this, and then the auditory canal getting to the eardrum. Eardrum is where the sound goes to and amplify the sound. Then it now goes to the malleus, incus, and stapes, the three smallest bone in the middle ear. So, but then here now is that there are some people that do have what we call conductive hearing loss. It means it can be that there is wax impaction. You know, when people always, wax impaction is this fatty substances is so brownish in the ear. So, and people usually use cotton boards or something to remove it, which is really very wrong. So some people, those wax can actually be impacted. So it can produce a whole lot of wax in their ear. And when that happens, now sound wave won't be able to travel normal to the tympanic membrane called eardrum. And when that happens, the hearing will reduce. But then this is where the issue occurs. Some people will be using cotton board to trying to clean it off, which is very wrong, all right? Because that wax actually lubricates our hearing. It traps foreign body from getting to the tympanic membrane. And once you are using that, these are actually risks involved here. You are pushing those wax back to the eardrum that receives sound to amplify sound. Number two, it can actually perforate the eardrum too. That is, there can be a hole in it while doing that. So, and when that happens, the hearing will also reduce. So we don't encourage people to use cotton board or use anything to clean the ear. So if you notice that your hearing is being reduced, or you're having an itching in the ear, go to ENT, where there will be what we call audiological evaluation.
Wow.
All right. So now, if the wax is being impacted, you know, we'll do what we call ear syringing to remove those wax. Not you using cotton board. It's very risky. The risk of that cotton board is that you push those wax back, it will block the hearing. Number two, eardrum can be perforated. Even the wool can also be removed and also block the hearing. So.
Wow, this is, I couldn't help but My facial expression, I think, says it all. I didn't realize the risk of what we kept on doing by something
It's
as
very
simple
wrong.
as just, using a cotton
Extremely
ball.
wrong.
And sometimes you feel like you're in some ecstasy somewhere, whereas you're actually damaging things that could affect your hearing.
Extremely wrong.
So, real quick, let's get to the speech part. The truth is, I think we're just hitting the surface on a lot of things because it's important to get an introduction. So we're definitely going to have you give us a detailed analysis when it comes to speech, speech delay, speech assessment, and World Speech Day itself. But just in summary, what are some basic things we can get in commemoration of World Speech Day? We have just a few minutes before we round up the show.
Okay. World Speech Day is being celebrated to encourage individuals to be able to communicate properly, share ideas, thoughts, and also share feelings to promote peace and unity and equality in the world. But then here now is that the speech and hearing also affect individuals too, from an angle of a speech language pathologist. So this is what we actually do, because in the society where we live in the schools, anywhere in the world, we have problem regarding individuals with a speech language disorder. So what we do here is that we actually encourage the schools, we encourage the society, the religious organizations to actually, when you detect that someone is not talking properly, reduce the stigma, then you have to actually seek for a professional help. So do not make mockery of the individual with a speech language disorder. Rather, seek for way to support the child, even in the school. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Like I said, we're definitely going to have to get into this in detail because, like I said, we've just scratched it on the surface level. But that's so much we can take on the show for now. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Health Digest. As you did hear a thing or two in commemoration of World Speech Day and World Hearing Day. But it's okay, hold your horses. It's not the end of the conversation. We're going to be continuing that, but that is what we can take on the show today. As we leave, I'm going to leave you with just 2 tips. The fasting season is coming to an end, but we're still in it on both sides of the coin, the Christians, the Muslims, and many other religions as well. So, few tips. Stay hydrated when you're fasting to ensure your energy levels are high, and also do make sure that you eat right. Start with nutrients. Start your fast if you're breaking it with light foods. Stay hydrated and ensure that you get enough rest. That's it for me on the show today. I'm Ugwuoke. Stay blessed and not stressed. Peace.